Good morning and welcome to the NBA Daily for November 17th, 2025. I'm Dave DuFour here with Zena Keita and Baraheni. Coming up, big weekend. We're going to recap as much of it as we can. We had Steph versus Wemby on Friday, crazy Magic Rockets game, and we got a bunch of injuries to get to. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, guys. Another crazy weekend around the NBA.
Good morning.
Oh, yeah. Fun Sunday. I thought we were going to wind up talking Bulls Jazz, guys, because of all the double overtime. We will get to it. I don't know. Where do we start, guys? You guys want to start with the game? Magic Rockets on Sunday. The Magic roll in there with no Paolo Banchero and unsurprisingly, the offense seemed to make a little bit of sense for the Magic.
Yeah, it did. 21 assists tonight for the Orlando Magic. Ball was flying a little bit. Basically, every single player that played tonight had an assist. The playmaking pop from Desmond Bane, who was getting downhill and creating his shots. Franz Wagner's has looked good since Paolo's been out too. I don't think it's time yet to do the whole are they better without him, but they do look good. And honestly, they are playing better basketball since we kind of pushed them on the panic meter a couple of weeks back. So they're starting to figure things out. But at the same time, this Houston Rockets team is a machine at this point. They are just lethal offensively. They have an identity, which is we're going to crash the offensive glass like madmen. At the same time, we have Kevin Durant, who's a great isolation scorer. He's running more pick and rolls than ever. Alperen Sengun, who has taken a leap, right? I think we can all agree that Sengun has stepped it up as an isolation scorer, as a guy who can create his own shot. And we saw that tonight. Like they combined for 65 points in this game. KD had huge shot after huge shot. Sengun got it in the post, right? Finish. He was really, really impressive in this game. And those two leading the way for the Rockets.
Yeah. I mean, Zena, look, when we were watching the Rockets last year down the stretch, fourth quarters, it's a different world now that Kevin Durant is out there making big shots. And you've got Alperen Sengun, who looks so much more confident this year. It's not the grenade at the end of the shot clock like with Fred VanVleet like it was last year.
Yeah, I feel like you can feel the hierarchy in Houston now and very clearly know what the tiers are. Yes. Of course, Durant is the bucket. Going to get 25 a game out of him. Solid. Lock that in. But you've got Sengun kind of acting like the engine of the team, kind of pushing everyone across the line. Like he's the one now at the top of the arc, making those handoffs, making those decisions on, whether he wants to go ISO, whether he wants to take someone in the post. He's also a really great passer from that position. Like when you compare it to last year, you've got a lot more options in their crunch time offense, but most importantly, you've got Sengun and KD sharing those late game possessions, and it's less somebody save us and more one of y'all got it. And that feels good.
And Reed Shepherd is figuring it out, folks. Just want to mention that. He's playing some good basketball recently. Dropped 16 tonight too. Looking back.
They got him closing games. I mean, part of that is because they have to, they've had some injury issues and they've got to stretch the floor, right? Like they can't just go double big the whole time. But Reed Shepherd looking like a basketball player. Also basketball players, Stephen Curry and Victor Wembanyama, unrelated to Reed Shepherd. The Spurs are probably sick of Steph Curry by now, and nobody more than Victor Wembanyama between the Olympics and then the 95 points that Steph dropped on the Spurs in the two games that they played Wednesday and Friday of last week. I don't know, guys. Like Steph Curry has got to be the most annoying player to play against. You can't guard him when he's got the ball in his hands. You can't keep up with him when he's off the ball. And Zena, look, I know that you're super plugged in on this game, maybe even more so than I was because you had to talk about it right after. But there was a possession that stands out to me at the end of this game, like down the stretch. You watch Wemby just trying to track Steph. Yes. That's impossible. Number one, it's impossible to do. But number two, did Wemby do a better job than we've maybe seen anybody do?
He was great.
He was great. And I think the possession you're talking about, he was going off of multiple screens, again, off ball. So this is with Steph just utilizing his energy to make Wemby chase him. And then Wemby also had to recover and cover the paint in that same play. So I do give Wemby a lot of credit for the amount of chasing Steph, but then also being the, basic full cone around the paint for the Spurs. But ultimately, yes, we know Wemby is the future. We saw what he was capable of doing. But yes, there's some PTSD, whether you're the Spurs, whether you're Team France, whether you're anyone that is above the height of 6'3".
Yeah.
Right. Anyone. You're above the height of 6'3", and you're just like, how is this man coming in here at 37 years old and within 72 hours dropping 95 points on my team?
Yeah.
72 hours at age 37. He
became a free agent, sneaker free agent in that time too.
And he's playing games with, I'm not quite literally playing games with the Mamacitas on, but warming up and then showcasing 2 of his Curry shoes during the game, 2 different shoes. So I just love this matchup. I literally wrote that we are blessed by the basketball gods that we get to see a matchup like this in real time, and understanding that it's not just what typically you see with basketball. Oh, it's small versus tall, right? Like, oh, he's just so much smaller than it. No, this is Wemby's ridiculous size and the space that he covers versus Steph's processing speed.
Yeah.
And how quickly he can make decisions and change the geometry of a game.
Honestly, Zena, it's funny you say that. It's enigma versus enigma, because Steph was the guy who, like, you watched him for the last 10 years and you're like, what am I watching right now with Steph Curry, especially in his prime? And Wemby is that guy now, right? He is the guy who we marvel at constantly. And so that's why I want a playoff series. Give me a playoff series of Spurs versus Warriors.
I was thinking that too.
It's old guard versus new guard, right? It's, I compare Steph Curry to Shaq all the time. And then Wemby is like, if you take Shaq and Steph and threw them into a blender and then maybe a little bit of KD in there. Kevin Garnett, I know, just throw in every single player.
Throw in everybody. Yeah,
throw in everybody.
And the thing is, to watch the Warriors beat them 2 games in a row, even as we're watching the Spurs kind of grow and figure things out, I got the thought, like, Zena, you threw it in the group chat. We need this for the playoffs. It's like, we believe Spurs. We keep talking about how the Spurs remind us of like maybe it's OKC a couple years ago when they were like a year early.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were in. Like,
and what do OKC a couple years ago remind you? Even OKC now reminds you of what? The 2015-2016 Warriors. So there is this lineage, there is this heritage of this, up and coming team, like trying to figure it out, this youth coming about it, and all of them hinging on one superstar player.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It would be fitting if, I think the one series I always think about when it would, like, Steph and the Warriors starting off is that I believe either 2013 or 2014 series versus the Spurs, where they arrived, right? It was their moment. I don't know. Maybe we get another one this year. It would be full
circle, right? I mean, basketball's poetic like that, especially the NBA. Speaking of superstars missing, guys, the Atlanta Hawks have now played 9 games without Trae Young. Okay. They are 7-2 without Trae Young now after the comeback win over the upstart Suns, who we really like and play good defense. Beat them on Sunday. Big comeback. 8-2 if you count the game that he left early with an injury. They've got the second best defense in that time, guys. They just went 4-0 on this West Coast road trip. They beat the Clippers, the Kings, the Jazz, and the Suns. Okay, I get it. Not easy world schedule. Beaters. Yeah. The 12th best offense also since then, which maybe is a surprise since Trae Young is an offense unto himself. And Dyson Daniels, who we talked about, kind of finding his way, figuring out who he is again, averaging 7+ assists since Trae's been out. Zena, I'm going to ask you both this question, but I'm going to start with you. Are the Hawks better without Trae Young?
I feel like that's the wrong question to ask. I feel like I want to ask, not are the Hawks better without Trae Young? It is, can Trae Young plug into this version of the Hawks without taking them back into the 120+ defensive rating they had, right? Before he went out. This is the issue. Whenever you have stars go missing because of injury or whatever it may be, and you see them play better, right? I cover the Warriors. We see this right now with Jonathan Kuminga. The Warriors have won, and Jonathan Kuminga's got knee injuries. There's a lot of fans talking about what is that going to look like? This is always the conversation. You think that when a team gets better because someone is absent, are they better without them? Listen, assess how you want. My question is, when Trae Young comes back, because he is inevitably going to return to his team. Let's just be clear. It is still his team. Can he ensure that him coming back does not slip this team back from a defensive perspective? Because that's the biggest thing. We know the Dyson Daniels 7+ assists, the playmaking that's coming out of him, Jalen Johnson popping off for a triple-double the other night, 31, 18, and 14 assists. These things can still happen with Trae Young available. It's about the defense for me, because I think what's happening right now, we're seeing the Hawks play better defense into offense than we've ever seen before.
Yep.
And that's what's really like levitating them. So I'm not going to ask if they're better without Trae Young, because the version of them with Trae Young is really, really good. I'm going to ask, can Trae Young fit this version and get them better?
It is the perfect answer. I genuinely cannot add too much, but I will just kind of sprinkle some more numbers for you. So since Trae Young has been out, they are the number one offense when it comes to cuts. They are dominating when it comes to finding guys off of cuts. Dyson Daniels is really good at that. Jalen Johnson is really good at that. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, also very good at that. He had a really great game against the Suns tonight. When you look at their offensive system, this is something that Trae should be able to play into, because he's also great at finding cutters, but it's a willingness. And that's the thing that I wanted to add is like, is Trae Young willing to buy into what they do offensively? And at the same time, like you mentioned, defensively, they're switching everything. They have wings are us when it comes to how they can guard on the perimeter. Can they continue to do that with Trae? I don't necessarily know.
They can't.
You know?
They can't do the defensive stuff. They're going to have to change it. They're going to have to cover up for him, right? But offensively, when you've got the gifts that he has as a passer and as a shooter, he should be better at plugging into what they're doing between cutting and himself
100%.
Playing off the ball. That is the thing with Trae Young that's been missing from his game, is being dangerous without the ball in his hands. And until he figures out how to do that,
2.0 is what he should be.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Because he's got the range, he's got the touch. And I mean, he should just be a threat. And he's a good finisher too. So he should be cutting off the ball too. Like, he should just be joining in on the fun. He should blend in. Hopefully he does. If he does, this offense will be a top 7 offense in the NBA. Period.
100%. It's just, look, it's worth noting that like Trae was also really bad before he got hurt. That was the worst version of Trae Young. Like, he was shooting 19% from 3. Yep. If you get an average or above average version of Trae, I don't think the on-off disparity is as crazy as we look at it right now.
Yeah.
So,
probably not. All right, guys, we got a lot of news to catch up on. Injuries. We got people coming back, and Willie Green was fired in New Orleans. All right, we were anticipating this for a while, but the New Orleans Pelicans have finally, after dragging it out quite a while, and in my opinion, getting a bit disrespectful with the way that they were treating Willie Green, they did fire Willie Green finally over the weekend. James Borrego has been named interim head coach, and he's going to finish the season. They didn't let James Borrego interview for other jobs this past summer because they knew that this was coming. And guys, like, we kind of lose sight of the human being part of this, especially with coaches. But they put Willie Green through quite a bit after the initial reporting came out that they were going to let him go, including dragging it out an extra like 2 weeks and then not announcing him along with the starting lineups at home. And I feel like, I mean, it's just kind of uncalled for an organization that's just been doing bad business for a few years now.
It's been messy as hell, the way that all of this has played out. And it's it serves as a perfect parallel to kind of what Willie Green has had to deal with in terms of his roster and the consistencies in his roster. I've already mentioned this on this podcast. I mentioned it on, covering the Warriors. I feel bad for Willie Green. I do feel like he got the short end of the stick when it comes to what was available to him in terms of talent. And I feel like for the Pelicans organization, you can switch out the coach. You cannot switch out dysfunction. You cannot switch out what you build around Zion. And that's going to be the biggest question. The thing we saw against the Warriors when Borrego in the first game that he takes over for the Pelicans is Derik Queen enters the starting lineup. Kevon Looney does not play at all. Now, I don't mind this switch because Derik Queen has been phenomenal. And I love Derik Queen on the court as much as I love the fact that he has Queen on the back of his jersey. And I feel every woman should buy one. But he didn't play that well.
Nobody wants a Pelicans jersey, Zena. Come on now.
Well, listen, you want a queen on the back. I think it's great. It's a great buy. But he didn't play that well against the Warriors. That's one game, whatever. But I still don't see enough. I don't think that Borrego is going to now take this roster and find a way to the top of the Western Conference. Like this, there's too much there in terms of dysfunction that it will not be addressed just because you switch out one coach, mind you. The rest of the coach is still there. The rest of the staff is still there. Like, I mean, I'm curious about how this is going to play out, but I do feel bad for Willie.
You guys are making me think of a business idea, by the way. There's a lot of bachelorette parties in New Orleans. So you could do Queen, New Orleans.
There you go. There you go.
This is a layup, folks.
We're going to buy wholesale Derik Queen jerseys, which, by the way, not a bad investment. He has been probably the best player for the Pelicans this year. Like, he's been good. He's been talented. And so, like, we're going to hammer that trade still because it was awful, but player can play.
Yeah. We just talked about the dysfunction of the Pelicans. They need like a one shining light type of player, a guy who just injects positivity into that franchise. And from the way everybody talks about Derik Queen, the way like he is just apparently one of the funniest players to be around, that is the type of guy you need in your locker room. If he's good, if he becomes an all-star, he's the type of guy who can really change around a franchise.
I think if he can get in the weight room, that's going to be super important.
Shout out to Willie Green for developing the players that he's developed, right? We just talked about Grayson Daniels. Who helped develop that guy? Willie Green. Looking at Yves Missi, looking at all these young players coming out of New Orleans. I mean, they are athletic as hell. They've got potential. They just need a little bit more order. And what, like you said, S, you're talking about that one shining guy of positivity. I also think it's like one shining guy out on the court that can take over.
100%.
And Ingram was that guy. Ingram's not there anymore, or supposed to be that guy, right? Zion was supposed to be that guy. Like Jordan Poole's supposed to be that guy. We haven't been able to see it come to fruition.
I do think that they could be a little bit
Zero Fears jersey, and then a Queen
jersey. And Jeremiah Fears playing really, really well.
We're going to New Orleans for Mardi Gras is basically what S is trying to say. All right, let's get to some injuries, guys. Because
I'm trying to set it up.
We're now almost a month into the season, and the injury bug is biting, and it's biting every single team. I want to start with the Knicks. Jalen Brunson has the ankle issue that he's dealing with. He was in a walking boot, but he's traveling with the team. But OG Anunoby is going to be out at least 2 weeks with that strained left hamstring. Zena, look, the Knicks have got more depth, and this has been good for them. But being down two guys out of the starting lineup, but especially OG Anunoby, I think is going to be tough for him.
Yeah, this is tough because OG's not just like a role player for this team. Like, he is solid, 16 points a night, almost 2 steals a game. Like, he brings that energy. He helps their transition game. He makes them pop playing above the rim, etc. But let's just be real. Like, if you don't have Landry Shamet the other night against the Heat, like, they're not winning that game. There was way too much depth in the starting lineup and the bench for the Heat if Landry Shamet and Cat didn't go off for the points that they had. And so it does show you that the starting lineup for the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson, you got to step up, right? Especially if OG is going to be out. There's a lot of want still to be seen in the Knicks offense, especially now with OG out. So I'm very curious as to how New York's going to survive this period of time, but it will take Jordan Clarkson, who's been playing really well for them. I feel like this is his opportunity to shine. We've already seen McBride and what he's capable of doing when he gets the opportunity and has the ball in his hands a little bit more. So those guys are going to really have to step up for the Knicks in the midst of OG and Jalen being out.
The Grizzlies might be without John Morant for a little bit. We don't know yet how long he's going to miss, if he's going to miss any time at all. He did leave Saturday's game against the Cavs that the Grizzlies wound up losing after about 7 minutes. It's been a rough start to the season for Ja. He hasn't really looked like himself as far as being explosive. Obviously, the finishing and around the basket, the shot has just been non-existent. I don't know. I mean, they're down so many guards. They had to sign a two-way guy and bring him up. It's not looking great for the Grizzlies.
No, it's not looking great for the Grizzlies. And honestly, I don't envy the position Ja's in either, because with everything that has happened to start this season, he now has to try to build himself back up. Look, when he came back from that suspension, he's shooting 30% from the field, 18% from three. Like there's something wrong there, whether it is the coaching staff not getting out to him not feeling 100%, or maybe the whole stints substitution patterns that have become this big issue for the Grizzlies. I'm really curious to see whether they're going to work through having Morant play more off ball when he comes back just to get his legs back, because he didn't look healthy to finish out the last couple of games. At the same time, maybe the Grizzlies end up looking better. Like Zach Edey is back.
Yeah.
They're probably going to get some of their guards back eventually.
They move Cedric Coward to the starting lineup
here. Yeah,
which I think is the right move.
I don't know. It's something to watch for, but I honestly don't envy the position Ja's been over the last couple of weeks, because how do you make something out of nothing even when you're not 100% like that?
Yeah.
This sounds like the Ewing theory.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not ready to go there yet. We'll see. I mean, I think if Ja can bounce back and be Ja, that's what we all, that's what the Grizzlies should want.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got Christian Brown's going to be out for 6 weeks, at least, with the left ankle sprain. Tim Hardaway put up 23 as a starter. Look, normally we'd be worried about the Nuggets losing a guy, but this is the season where they have some depth. I mean, if you look, the Nuggets are only negative 1.6 plus minus without Jokic this year. Last year, they were minus 10.86 points, right? And in their championship year, minus 14.8 without Jokic on the court. So doing a little bit better from the bench standpoint. So maybe can withstand that. Tari Eason's going to be out for a month to 6 weeks for the Rockets. Aaron Nesmith's going to be out a month, but the Pacers are 1-12 and probably tanking at this point.
AJ DeBonta type.
Yeah, that's right.
AJ DeBonta highlights. Go watch them. Great game against UConn.
Not just injuries to report. We actually have some good news. Coby White's back. He came back Sunday for the Bulls, came off the bench, completely blew through the minutes limit because this game went to double overtime, which, by the way, Coby White helped get it to double overtime with a crazy layup with 0.2 seconds left at the end of the first overtime, which the Jazz end up winning in 2 overtimes. The Bulls have now lost 5 in a row. Not great after the start that they had.
They're back.
He put up 27, 4, and 8. I don't know, Zena. Look, he looks good out there. Him and Josh Giddey gave him a little bit more juice, right?
Yeah, the Bulls finally are going to get to see what this Giddey White backcourt looks like. That carried them late last season. Remember the games that we were like staying up and screaming about?
Yeah.
It was those two being absolutely electric. And this is exactly 27, 4, and 8. This is who Coby was after All-Star last year. 25 a night, 50% shooting. Like, he was efficient. And so I'm looking forward to seeing him back on the floor. And if he can survive 30 minutes already, I feel like he's raring to go as well.
I feel like we should talk about the fact that Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George combined for 80 points tonight against the Bulls defense.
I mean, pretty incredible. Yeah, Lauri Markkanen 47 points in the game. Just an absolutely absurd performance from him. Anthony Davis, guys, going to be out at least another 7 to 10 days, recovering from a calf injury. The Mavs did pick up a win on Sunday. Cooper Flagg has been fantastic last 4 games, averaging 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 stocks, 4 assists, 54% shooting. They need AD to come back so that he can rebuild his trade value, buddy.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do, because I think it's time to pull the plug. I think it's time to start over with Cooper Flagg. I'm very curious to see what kind of trade value Anthony Davis will have once he starts to play for this team. Because Cooper Flagg is awesome, because he's been playing great basketball, because guard help, shout out Brandon Williams, has been really, really important to the fact that Cooper is playing better basketball. He has been muscling through contact, playing in the post more often, creating his shots with physicality. He had a couple of possessions tonight where he bodied Toumani Camara. I'm really excited for Cooper Flagg if the Mavs tilt and pivot and go away from Anthony Davis and everybody else.
As long as they keep the guards out there.
Trade value. I need
it's very important. All right. And finally, guys, the Lakers have called up an older guy out of the G League. You may have heard of him, the father of LeBron James Jr. LeBron James coming back to practice with the Lakers on Monday. Assuming that we're going to see him soon. I mean, it's not NBA players don't just practice for the hell of it. They don't love that. So I'm assuming because he's practiced, he's ramping up to return to play. And the Lakers could actually use him, even though they've been pretty good to start the season. They're 30th in transition frequency. That's bad. Like this team needs to get out and run a little bit, and LeBron will speed him up. Luka likes to play slow. LeBron will speed him up.
Yeah, I love the fact that one of the oldest guys in the league, we need you to speed us up. Right now, we're playing slowly and badly in transition, and we need LeBron, 40 years old, to come in. How old is LeBron?
Yeah, he's 41 at this
41?
point.
Yeah. We need him to come in and speed us up. And LeBron is going to be
41 in December.
Yeah,
there you go.
Okay. 41 season.
He's going to be great for that. We've seen the Lakers. Yes, they're doing well. They're great, but their half court is a grind, and they need some easy buckets in transition. And we know one thing: LeBron is good for the leak out. He's good for this, being able to be a target down low that Luka will love to toss to. We've seen it already when he was out there when they were out there together. This will be so fun to see him back in action. But it's comical to me that we're looking at, hey, Bronny James, can you go get your dad so we can speed things up?
Can I be the devil's advocate here?
I was going to ask you, okay. Are you any worried about LeBron integrating into what is working for the Lakers?
A little bit, because the ball has looked good in Austin Reeves' hands. The ball has obviously looked good in Luka Doncic's hands. Those guys have created most of the possessions and offense for this team in the half court. LeBron James will want the ball in his hands. I understand the leak outs. I understand being a play finisher. He's one of the best of all time at doing that. But at the same time, he's going to want the ball in his hands. And that's going to change things for this Lakers offense. That might mean a little bit of a work in progress over the next couple of weeks as they integrate him. But overall, they should be fine. That's my conclusion.
Listen,
they'll be okay,
said we have
might be some speed bumps.
Too many ball handlers. Nobody ever said we have too many creators. And nobody's ever said we don't need LeBron James. I am not worried about this being the first time that we hear that.
Exactly.
Right. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the show. So much stuff happened since Friday. So thanks for hanging in there with us. Thanks to Zena Keita and Baraheni. I'm Dave DuFour. This has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for waking up with us.